All right, Probe versus Nightmare, best of 5. We start on Isle of Dread. It's Celestials, it's Vanguard. We've seen just how just how Clem in the macro game kind of dumpstered Kiwi, and it doesn't seem like he had a great answer to the Kree spam. I wonder if Nightmare has a different one. Probe is good. He is God. He is extremely good at Stormgate. He's made some of some of the best content that we've seen in terms of out of Stormgate, in terms of the guides that he's made, things like that. It's very, very good content. So it's going to be interesting to see how he is handling the Celestials. Does he play macro? Does he play aggressive? For now, Collection Array going down at the natural. And how does Nightmare respond? I really like the Hedgehog idea to go snipe Prisms. That seemed really strong. And we saw Kiwi win off of it, in fact. But that might rely on Nightmare not being all that aggressive. Would be my assumption. Or that might, that might rely on Probe not being all that aggressive. Or that might rely on Probe being aggressive for the Hedgehogs to dive in and make something happen. And if he's going to play more defensively, which, by the way, we're seeing Probe, he's not doing the, well, he's being honorable. He's not doing the just utterly disgusting builds of running across the map and going for that. No. He's taking his natural. He's playing in the main. He's not arc shipping over immediately. Like, he is playing the game. And actually, I'm actually really curious how this thing works. I don't have a great justification in my head just yet. I've seen some players do it. But last test in Frigate, you only built one arc ship. There was no reason to build anymore. You built the one. It did everything for you. You turned it into an arc station if you wanted to. You could land it and it would do damage. That was pretty cool. But you just build a single arc ship, and that was it. And I've seen some players go for double. In the Celestial Mirror, you build 2, so you can build multiple morph cores at a time and have more going for you like that. Oh, very different. I don't think I've seen, and again, I've only caught a couple stuff. Bear with me here. I don't think I've seen a single Starforge get made certainly not in any game I've ever cast. Again, this is new. Fine. But I don't think I've seen a single Starforge, so I'm very curious to see what this double Starforge build is going to be for. What does Probe have in store for us? He's got double arc ships, which means he can build double morph core, double prism. That's fairly nice. That's probably worth something. There is also currently a bug, and again, we're not giving him a hard time for abusing the bug. It's just what it is. I have to not build arc ships if you want otherwise. But if you go and build arc ships with a morph core, it costs 100 Luminite cheaper than it should be. So probably not. I don't know that Probe. I don't know if Probe knew about that. Whatever, but just we're kind of worth pointing out. Okay. Of course it is. I was gonna say I'm curious to see what this is. It's gonna be vector spam. This is how Parting dumpstered the #1 Vanguard and ladder in the last playtest. Although, yeah, that's a lot of damage. And these vectors, as they're getting spammed out, they take a lot of damage, and if they go blink forward, they take even more damage. So life is a little bit dicey. Probe, though, he has multiple vectors out right now, and that means these exos, they just have to run home. I like what Nightmare did. He said, look, I'm going to lose map control eventually, maybe sooner rather than later, but in the early mid game, I'm just gonna lose my map control. There is not a lot I can do about it. That's just how the races are balanced right now. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to try to take as many creep camps from the map, from my opponent's side of the map, before he gets out Kree or enough Argents or Vectors or whatever it is, before he gets enough stuff out where I'm in a bit of a pickle, maybe. So he goes and he gets the Vision Campus now. He's going to try to target these Vectors down, blinks away at the last second, and man, yes, Vectors, when they blink, they take a little bit more damage. But if you just blink away, that's fine. You get the damage. You find that value. You have to get out, though, and, well, just make sure you get a health camp, and you can heal right back up. So I really like this idea. Or just go back. Is that double arc? Is that double arc ship just to heal? I don't know. By the way, Nightmare had a barracks. He sold it. He's now remaking it. I guess that's for a wall more than anything else, just making sure that he has a better wall setup against the eventual if it goes to Kree, just if Vector's running, you want to make sure your wall is kind of as airtight as possible. So I guess that's what that's for. Last patch, well, actually, I guess Vectors were the answer to the Hedgehog spam, maybe not the other way around. Extras make sense, especially with Quick Draw Hustle. You know, they're fast, they don't take a ton of damage from the Vectors. They're pretty reasonable. But now Vectors are going to show up in the main base, and there is a flak turret there, but it's not doing a ton of damage to this. So diving on top, this number of Vectors does one-tap the Bobs. So you got to be a little careful there. Now Argents are starting to get fielded a little bit more as well. Again, this is a very different style that we're seeing Probe play with compared to who was it? Compared to how Clem decided to play. Again, this is much more Starforge focused, much more mechanical unit focused, and now it seems like we're going to get into Korea as we see the Guardian Nexus go down. The Vectors are just doing a lot. They're killing off a ton of stuff here. Yes, they're killing off as many X's as possible. There is this flak turret that is going to force things back eventually. But every time you kill all the units that your opponent has, you reset their ability to be on the map. You reset their ability to play the game that they want to play. So for now, more creation chambers. The time of the Vector is in Probe's estimation, probably done. But I'm not sure it is. To be totally honest, these Vectors have found a lot of value, and they've reset the army of Nightmare multiple times. Man, this one beat of dun 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 in the Celestial music, I swear I'm hearing AWOL Nation. I'm hearing Sail over and over again, and this is giving me so much PTSD right now, because for like my entirety of high school, I'd read something that says that, well, the best way for, like, if you're gonna set an alarm, it should gradually wake you up. That's what should be at, like, gradually wake you up. So I, in the folly, the innocence of youth, decided, well, okay, Sail. It starts a little quieter, then gets loud. That's what my alarm's gonna be on my little iPod Touch. On my little, I didn't have a phone. I had a little iPod Touch that had to be my connection to the outside world whenever I had Wi-Fi, of course. But otherwise, anyways, that had to be my connection to the outside world. So I had this little iTouch, and I would wake up at 6:45 every morning to the opening sound of Sail. And now it just makes listening to that song makes me uncomfortable. It makes me very sad, because it feels like waking up for high school after like 4 hours of sleep, and I'm like, I don't like that. That doesn't feel very good. As now we're gonna see the Kree and the Vectors trying to take this creep camp down. They're beefy boys. They take a while to take down, so Probe does a nice job. He keeps all the Kree alive as he's going to start to sweep the map. This is where life gets really scary for Vanguard. Before then, yeah, the trades were kind of annoying. These Vectors were really strong, but, well, he didn't have the map, and trades were being made, kind of. But now the creep camps are starting to get taken. Now resource camps are starting to get taken. Now there's this massive cash injection that Probe has. And remember, we talked about how Celestials, I guess not in this series, but Celestials have less supply locked into their economy. It's a lot more in their army. And what that means is that this 126 supply is insane in the map right now, as the creature's going to dive on top. Vectors blink on the north side to go knock down as many of these Axos as possible. They're going to fall down. The flak turret, well, it's just getting splashed down to death. Vectors are taking bonus damage, but if they're not taking damage, they're not taking bonus damage. That being said, seems like Nightmare for the time being will be able to hold on. It looked worse than it was, I guess, but with the Bob overcharge and with the repair, it was fine. It was okay for now, but Probe, he's on 4 Luminite mining bases. He's got 4 prisms per most of these collection arrays. He is mining a ton of money. An actual metric ton of money. That's gonna, well, it's gonna go and support this Kree addiction that he's got. Yeah, it really just is a Kree addiction. He's gonna try to get on top of this flak turret once again. And the Bob, this is just, it's nice on the one hand, because what it means is you have well, there's not a lot of surface area. Not a lot of surface area for units to get on top of the turret, but also only one Bob could get on top of that turret for a good percentage of time. So it almost went down. If you have maybe a little bit, maybe those are Argents instead of Vectors, I think it does die. As it stands, though, the repair was a little bit slow from the Therium patch, and that meant the Nightmare, he almost lost that. But now the Kree are going to dive in once again. Just, oh, there we go, into the Luminite line this time, totally blocking off any sort of, yeah, the repair's not there anymore. And the Bobs, as they try to mass repair themselves, they will just die. So Probe, he's had a lead for quite a while now, and now he's just going to secure that lead. This base is dead. He's going to try to run back with these Exos, with these med techs, but it's not going to work. Yeah, I mean, Nanoswarm's a pretty cool idea. Dropping it on top, almost everything that Celestials have is a mechanical unit. They're these biomechanical things. So it does make sense that you drop Nanoswarm and you do 10 damage a second on everything and drop effectively mini parasitic bombs on the ground is what we can think about it as, except it also heals friendly units. Anyway, mini parasitic bomb on these Kree, on these Argents, on these Vectors, and it does a decent amount of damage. I think this is a pretty cool idea. We can see that the Kree are starting to go down. I mean, they're just getting a lot done. I really like this idea now that I look at it more. I think the problem is it's just too little too late. The economy's shattered. The army's not big enough. Nightmare has no Therium. Not really. So I think that Nanoswarm makes a lot of sense. His economy was hindered too much, too soon, too early. And now he just has no Bobs. And if you don't have any Bobs, you're just kind of dead. You got to have an economy to win an RTS game, and that is just not the thing that really the Nightmare has right now. Kree are going to get on top once again. We can see again this Nanoswarm on top is doing a lot. It really, you need to stack them though. And there we go. Now it's starting to do a little bit more, but there's just not enough damage to the rest. And there we go. Nightmare is dead. He's been dead for a long time. Let's be real. So Lost Hope is going to be the map. It is a 4-player map. I talk about this a lot. It's very exciting because I love 4-player maps, but also we've had the bad luck 2 straight CVV VVC games in a row of having vertical spawns, which if the Celestial player figures this out, they build a bunch of morph cores, they sit over their opponents, Luminite mining setup, and they kill. So Nightmare is aware of this opportunity. He is going cyber or biolab pretty much as quickly as possible because he knows he needs Exos. He needs just to make sure he does not die. And Doom of Gods, thank you so much for the follow. Happy Wednesday evening. Happy Wednesday evening. So yeah, he's just playing as if this is what's happening. But again, we're seeing Probe, the macro player, play macro. He's got his natural on the way at the Therium mining base, so we can kind of double tap that one. He's got a second arc station as well, and it's really cool to see players play this so differently. We saw single arc station every single game from Clem. In the last test, it was single arc station the entire time. But Nightmare, well, excuse me, but Probe, he's going double arc station. This means again double morph core, double prism production, the ability to really develop your economy a lot faster than building single arc station is. And I know I'm pointing this out as if this is new. I mean, this is a tenet of RTS. You want more town halls as quickly as possible. But again, this works a little bit differently. Arc stations are weird. Celestials are weird. They don't follow most of the rules that a normal RTS faction would generally follow. By the way, seeing the name of the creep camp here, it says a Shadow Mastiff. A Shadow Mastiff was, if you remember the first in-engine footage that we saw from Stormgate, I think it was like 2 years ago. Obviously, art has very much evolved since then. But the Shadow Mastiffs were something that was added. That was the demon doggy was what it was. That was, and we've seen this a lot in concept art as well. That I had assumed was going to be something that was going to be part of the Infernals. That's kind of what it seemed to be. But for now, Shadow Mastiffs and Thralls, which are the big wing dudes we see, these are both units that are in the creep camps. And I don't know. I'm really curious actually to see whether this is going to be something where they're just going to be creep camps, or whether these are units that are eventually going to get added to the Infernal Arsenal, and in the meantime they're kind of added there as maybe not placeholders, but gonna be interesting. They do have that shadowy or shadowy effect, which is the War's co-op army. He is the shadow army, so I don't know. I know that if you go by campaign lore, not Malak, no Malak, Malak's army, who reports to Wars, but his army is like the flaming right hand or something like that. And his army is, for the most part, it's very flame based, but also just a lot of the standard infernal units. Meanwhile, like everything that Wars has is like the shadow tinged whatever. So I wonder if the Infernals for now are only playing like one army of the Infernals, one faction of the Infernal. I don't know. This is just me. This is rampant speculation about lore that I know nothing about. I haven't had a chance to go and play much of the campaign yet. Anyways, I mean, I've read the short story, but there's so much more lore. And certainly we don't know a ton about, we know nothing about the Infernal lore. And even, well, we know a little about Infernal lore, but even less about Celestial lore. So we're going to find out more and more of it. Certainly true. The ceiling thing is this Vector is going to show up here. It seems like Probe really likes his Vector play, and it seems really good. If you can play active enough, seems really good. But it does seem that the key that unlocked, and we can guesstimate this from the short story, from the novella as well, but it seems like the key that unlocks the first Stormgate, that means that Infernals go into Earth, was something of celestial creation. So from that perspective, we can assume that, okay, you know, we got some tiny bit of lore, I guess. There was some, I mean, my guess is, you know, the war in heaven, except the war in heaven was the war of these ancient races on Earth, and they locked themselves up and went away. I don't know. There are descriptions of the Celestials as this dying race or this decaying race. I don't know. We'll figure it out. For now, though, the Vectors are going to run forward with this. Oh, they're so fast. They have both. Oh, yeah. This makes a lot of sense. Probe has both speed camps, so he's getting single active buff from one of the speed camps and double passive buff from the speed camps. They are so fast as they try to move forward here, take advantage of this timing, but they're going to retreat back for the time being. Damage is done. You got to heal them up. Demungi saying that we should make our own fanfic lore. Well, you know, Demungi, archive of our own exists. You can have your fun with that one. I just don't know. Tell me how concerned I should be before I read it, though. How worried about this fanfic lore should I be? Is it safe to read on stream, Demungi? Anyways, for now we have Nightmare just being as safe as possible. This is again the story. We're seeing a lot of Celestia builds that are all about this map control early on, getting all the creep cams, establishing map control, and by the way, we should go and update the score. Probe's up a map. All right, so now that score is updated, we're all solidly ready to go right now. A lot of vectors in the middle of the map here. It's a lot of nice vision that Probe has access to, just making sure. Nightmare had it briefly, and I do like these kind of task forces of creep camping. One actually thing that I think is very underexplored in Stormgate is, I mean, creeping is important. Players understand that it's important. It's been levels of importance based on the playtest, but I think creep jacking is a little bit underexplored, and I think also kind of sneaking out to get creeps is a bit underexplored. Yeah, it's a little scary. Creep can run by, certainly, but I mean, there are creep camps that are just not all that far. And if you build an evac, and yeah, that does require for a quick hanger, and maybe it's a little too expensive, but if you build a quick evac and just put 8 exos in evac and go try to get the edge creeps, for lack of a better term. Kree are so freaking tanky. Yeah, Kree are insanely tanky. They do a ton of it. I will not balance wine here. I'm not balance whining, but it does seem very hard for even with the overcharge. These Kree, they just don't take damage. Static defense does not keep them off you. You need to have full walls, and even then, they can bust through things. Turin 4574 asks, is this a show match or a tournament? It is a tournament. These are games. I'm going through the TastelessTV Stormgate Showdown that happened this weekend and casting all the games because I had access to a clean feed. So these games happened this weekend. Again, I'm just casting them now. And hopefully we're going to get a... Well, no, not hopefully. We're getting a balance patch soon that hopefully should solve a lot of these issues. Not all of them, obviously. This is going to take multiple iterations. Solving the balance for a brand new game that people are still figuring out. And also, again, lacking mechanics, lacking units. The races are, the factions are not done. Tier 3 is not complete. Upgrades are, there's a lot of changes that are going to happen between now and 1.0 in a significant way. So balancing that's really hard. In fact, there were balance ideas, or Flayed Dragon was tier 2 because there was no tier 3. Is probably a solid example. There have been a lot of, I guess, balance decisions and design decisions that are made purely because of what's available right now, but will be changed whenever there's a new test. Because say there's a, you know, for the longest time there was no cloak mechanic, and now there's cloak mechanic. Now there's a cloak mechanic. Say there's a burrow mechanic that we're waiting on that we don't have yet. Whatever it is, I don't know. But things designed to give power to races that are otherwise going to get that power from other ideas or other positions. Well, again, it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. For now, though, Vectors blink on top of the high ground, but that means they take bonus damage. And while the Kree are incredibly tanky, the Vectors are not. That being said, Nanoswarm on top of all these Kree, but they're just going to kill everything anyways. Who cares? The base, the army, everything. Yeah, I like the Nanoswarm idea. Again, I think that is how you got to play this. It seems effective. But Probe with this double arc ship build, building double arc ship, getting that economy up, he's able to, and this vector pressure is able to build so much of an eco lead that Nightmare just cannot hold on. He's going to fall down. Probe takes it 2-0 very convincingly. So now it's game 3 here. We're sitting on Secluded Grove once again. I gotta say, the nighttime tile set looks a little bit better than the daytime one. It's just the nighttime lighting. It looks good. That being said, we're into game 3, and that means if you like this, you want more Stormgate action, say a $2,000 tournament coming in at the end of the month. Also StarCraft 2 stuff. You should go every 5 days of the week. There'll be Stormgate VODs on YouTube, Monday through Friday. Go sub to the Twitch channel too. That's the shout out. You know what by now? Sub to the channel. Follow my Twitch. There we go. As Probe, is he getting aggressive here? We've seen. Can I give? Chat is asking me to give my best Tasteless since it's his tourney. I mean, I don't even know if I can do a I don't have the smoker voice or the raspy voice as much as he does. How do I do a Tasteless? GG. There we go. All right, Hassan SD2, thank you so much for the resub in 18 months. That is fantastic. And by the way, I said, hey, are we gonna see an aggressive Probe? Is he doing the crazy shenanigans? Answer is not really. He's building an arc ship outside of the vision camp, so he's going and getting as aggressive as possible. And also, I think this, yeah, he's just gonna go take the middle. He's gonna go take the Secluded Grove in the middle of the map. We talked about this in the last series I cast. It's technically the easiest thing in the world for Celestials to go and take this. It's just very, very, very hard to go defend, or to get aggressive on early. Now, whether he decides to go for that, I don't know. But I actually really like this. You move your first arc ship towards the middle, and that removes the problem where it's like, okay, I need 2 collection arrays. Well, that minimizes some of the benefit of taking this base. I can have my arc ship here, and then that serves as my town hall. And then I'm good, and then I'm totally fine. I can go, and it's not going to be quite as good because there's a little bit of mining distance issues, but it's better. It's better than not taking the base. So that's what's going to go down. Is we're going to see a bunch of energy batteries go down, making sure there's a link node as well, because you can be afraid. There can be a hard push by Nightmare through the middle of the map to try to go and cut some of these trees down and get aggressive with that one. I don't know. We're going to have to. I don't know if that's going to be worth doing, but for right now, Exo's on the map trying to get, again, as many creep camps as possible before things start to blow up in his face. Vectors, though, I think Vectors, if you talk about Vectors, I think one of the issues that they may have, for lack of a better term, is just they come out of the map so fast. You can tech up to them just a little bit too. Okay, they changed that. As we're going to see this, there we go. We're going to see the vision cam go down. A little bit of value there. Is the Argent on the other side, but these are overcharged bobs. They're fine. I did not know. I did not realize that the healing fruit that is on this map. I didn't realize the healing fruit can give you ranged heals too. Because what it used to do is it would drop 3 fruit on the ground. You would go and kind of pick them up, walk over them, and that's fine. Now though, I guess you go and you kill it and it goes and gives you fruit immediately. That's kind of cool. The Vector's gonna have to blink away, but doesn't really get a lot done. And now you're gonna start to cut through these trees, opening up a path to get aggressive. Do we have the strike node done? Strike node done makes this defense a lot easier. There we go. Sentry post is gonna go down. Strike node's ready though, so damage is possible here. Of course, also you can sovereign watch it, and I don't think there's enough exos here. Certainly not with the Vanguard, with these vectors as well, being able to get on top and shut down any reinforcements that they can find. I mean, you gotta target the low exo dude. He's just gonna get them all. He's gonna get them all. Okay, well, there's that. Yes, the sentry post may get up. That may be true. But more link nodes are. Wait, did a link node die? I think a strike node died and I totally missed it. Okay. I'm a little no, never mind. It's there. I'm just blind. That's fine. But none of the vectors have died. They have that healing camp. No, sorry, they don't have the healing camp. They just have the double arc ship to keep them healthy. So there are 5 vectors here going up to 6, and because a bunch of exos died early, now they can afford to get very aggressive, dive on top of things. 2 exos are not enough to defend this. Probe though, he's like, oh, I didn't take that, did I? You claim these POIs very quickly, but to go claim them back from your opponent, to get them to go steal them, it takes a little bit longer. So he moved out, tried to get something done, didn't quite accomplish it. But now, are we gonna see the scan into high ground blink? Because you have that available to yourself as the Celestial player. You have whatever it's called, but you have a scan. You get that tier 1. He doesn't even need it. You got the high ground. Not sure how he had high ground vision there, but anyways, he's going to blink up, and he's just going to sit him here, because right now they're going to take bonus damage. They take about, what is it, 150%, 250% damage for just a little bit of time, but now that's going to cool down, because the blink is now off cooldown, and that means we can see a bomb go down here, get some exos, try to target them down. These vectors continue to run away, kite away as they take damage, and, well, do you blink home? Maybe, maybe not, maybe. Yeah, okay, he's just going to blink home. That's fine. And Probe continues to own the map. He's got this double Luminite setup. He's got this base on the north. He's on 5 Luminite bases right now. His economy, I keep saying this, economy is going like gangbusters. His economy is incredibly strong. And now double collection array in the middle as well. So he's just, he had the cheeky little early game tomfoolery with his economy, but now he's got everything that he could possibly want. He's got his bases. He can be more mobile with his arc ships now. He is everything. Again, he's just in this great spot. So, again, this question is, and I have yet to see an answer, is how do you solve the problem of Maria? Or Celestials, but, or, Celestials if you're not in a excellent movie musical. How do you solve the problem of Celestials? How do you solve what happens from like minutes 10 to 15 where they just have the map and it's really hard for you to contest, which is, again, just a ton of money. It's just a ton of buffs, of money, of resources, things that allow you to build a big army, allow you to go and do whatever you want. So in this case, it's going to be Kree once again. We know this is the answer against Bio. Kree do so much damage. They're so tanky. It's really hard to get Vanguard to get splash damage to the value, to the amount that it needs to. Because yes, technically Lancers are splash, but they're in melee range, and that's not great against the Kree. Yes, Lancers are splash, but or not Lancers. Yes, Atlases are splash, but that's a while to get to. Yes, Vulcans are splash, but they shoot in a straight line forward, and Kree just surround them and kill them. Getting to the requisite amount to go and knock these. I think the MedTech Nanoswarm is the answer, but even that takes a while. That's kind of hard to get to in critical numbers, and even then, the damage it does is probably not enough to really be a proper answer. I think you need to be at like, maybe if it did 20 DPS, right now it does 20 healing per second or 10 DPS to mechanical units. So maybe if it was 20 and 20, maybe that's it. I don't know. And that's one of the fun things about this tournament, by the way. I'm sitting here and like, it's broken. But it is really fun to watch these games and to say, oh, well, okay, how is this? How are builds evolving? How are we gonna solve things out a little bit more? Because I don't doubt that there are answers. Even if certain things are maybe a little bit too strong one way or the other, I don't doubt that there are answers. I just don't think we found them yet. And I think also The patch that is probably coming tomorrow. I've been, if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on YouTube, probably out by then. But the patch that's coming, we just saw Stormgate tweeted a bit ago saying, hey, we've a scheduled downtime tomorrow. All right, that's the patch. That's probably the balance patch. I know they were hemming and hawing. They were kind of not trying to get people's hopes up too much on whether the patch would come this week or next week. But anyway, the patch has happened. So that's very, very nice. And Probe, for the meantime, though, he's going to take advantage of this crease spam idea that he's got. He's going to go. He's got the map. He's up 40 supply all of a sudden because, again, he is so good at developing his economy off of this. Very, very good at developing his economy off this map control that he has. And, well, can Nightmare defend? That's the question that we've been asking for quite a while now. He goes and he tries to build something out, and he's just not quite there. And then it's Kree flanking in from two sides, Vector flanking in from two sides, and the damage gets done. The day is won. And away we go. Second question, I guess, is what causes Probe to pull the trigger? He's sitting here. He's up 60 supply right now, most of his army. He's got all this Kree. Does he need Nightmare to move out? Is that what it is? I think he might have positioning to go and just flood from both sides and make it happen anyways. I think he might have enough there. So Medtech Adept trading is on the way. We're going to start to have those nanoswarms. We're going to have System Shock Avenge. Oh, no, that's Mastery. System Shock is Mastery. So we're going to have System Shock going down, or Nanoswarm going down, which means that, again, that's that AoE damage against everything that Probe has. It's AoE healing on nothing that Nightmare has. It's really System Shock is just for knocking the Kree down as much as possible. But we're like 15 minutes into this game, and I don't know, maybe whatever the game time is, 10 minutes into this game, and this is a 2-base Vanguard player. He's gonna mine out of his main base very, very soon, and that feels really rough. So now here, Kree flank intercepted by the scout, so it's gonna be a little bit weird. So this is not gonna be a Kree flank after all. Again, I'm very surprised to see Probe not just putting his Kree over to the left side, coming in from two angles and just trying to win the game. As it stands, not really going to go for that one for right now. Quick Draw Hustle procced on a couple of these exos, and Probe is just wholesale pulling back. I gotta say, I am very surprised to see that happening, but Nanoswarm is out now, so you got splash damage on the Kree a little bit. But I think this is not, maybe this is where we see this happen. The Probe's army is very split up now. He's got an army on the left side. He's got an army on the right side. I would have assumed that this was kind of the flank you're getting set up for, but he's keeping one of his armies back at home. And again, I'm not totally, maybe he's troping that he's going to trigger a base trade, then win with the other army. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. Because again, I think at this point he's up 100 supply almost. He's up 80 supply. I think at this point, again, we have the solution. Oh, very cool. We're getting Archangels made. I have not seen a single Archangel. I saw Mana was playing around with him a little bit, but I have not seen a single Archangel in the games that I have cast. So tier 3 on the board for Probe. He's got Archangels. That's pretty cool. Splash damage coming in from the sky. An ability that makes them immune to some status effects. It's a pretty cool idea. Now, are they going to get out in time? I don't know, because, well, Nightmare's moving right now, and this is the optimal fight for Nightmare right now. He wedges himself into a corner. A good majority of his army is not fighting, targeting down the Arc Fortress. That's a big deal. Tier 3 is down. There's a second Arc ship, but again, Arc Fortress does get targeted down, and it means any Archangels you had are the only Archangels you're going to have. One was produced, and okay, how good is this thing? I don't know. How good is this Arc Fortress? Flashes down, damage is going to get done, and it's tanky. 1,000 HP is pretty tanky, but it's also getting taken down pretty quickly. Target fire, I think it has the heavy tag, and Exos say, yeah, this is fun. We'll kill this one, absolutely. We can't kill your Kree, but we will kill this. Problem is, though, this Nightmare is losing everything on the other side of the map. He's losing his bases. There we go. Another Archangel shows up. Nightmare gets 3-0'd. That fight, though, looked really good for Nightmare at the end. That was a lot of supply going down. Just not enough.